Hello everyone, and welcome back to another Hearthstone deck spotlight. My name is Tommy Wave, and today we'll be taking a look at CWSmith's Token Druid. But first, I'm joined by an extra special guest. You've seen her before. We're going to be playing some Token Druid together. It's KidKerrigan. Kerry, how you doing today?
I'm decent.
Dece? We dece?
Yeah, heckin' decent. Actually went back to the gym today, you know, I'm feeling it.
Ooh, getting those gains. Very important.
Yeah, yep.
Now, as far as Rise of Shadows goes, I mean, I've been getting very deep into it. I've been really into this latest expansion. I think Blizzard has done a really good job at kind of freshening the metagame up. We've played before. I mean, how much Hearthstone would you play every month?
Minimal.
Very minimal? Like win 5 games, get your card back minimal?
Yeah. I think since when was the last time that I was playing pretty heavily? I tend to in regards to this deck that we're going to look at, like the last time that I was really into it, I always played a lot of like aggressive Paladin, Zoo, Lock, like those types of decks. And there was a period of time where with the expansions coming out and like the keywords and stuff that they would use and the new types of cards they would release, I think started lending itself more to like combo and just like more longer lasting games and stuff, and it kind of burnt me out a little bit.
Yeah, we definitely saw in the last year of expansions. Yeah, lots of control options. Priest had excellent control options. We saw a lot of excellent combo decks, you know, Mechathune and things like that. We've definitely had the combo and control archetypes really pushed to their limits lately, and aggro. I mean, aggro's also been really good too. I mean, we played Odd Paladin before. You know, you mentioned you've played a bunch of aggressive decks, so I think it's really interesting to go from like a format where everything has been pushed to the nines and then to come back down to the reality of Hearthstone, which is that, you know, sometimes decks aren't super powerful like that. How have you been enjoying Rise of Shadows so far?
I started liking it again because I'm starting to like broaden a little bit, because as I said, like I was always like, face is the place and here's my hunter and it's gonna smoosh your face with the weapons and the paladin's gonna have all the dudes and boom boom and the warlock and the stuff is everywhere. I'm like a really aggressive player generally, but I feel like I have more freedom with what I can play that way.
You think so with Rise of Shadows that there is a lot more, that it's kind of opened up a lot of those archetypes? It
kind of, it feels a little bit more flexible, but that's just kind of my first impression because I haven't obviously dived too far into it.
Well, you're absolutely right. I think the metagame right now is pretty flexible. I mean, just as a quick example, we were playing last week. Some of the viewers would have remembered we were playing a bunch of different carpet Zoolocks. So that's like a regular Zoolock, but we're taking advantage of the magic carpet. And I think what we saw was that you could build that deck really different ways. We played one version that had 17 1-drops in the deck. And that was really, really different to the one that had, you know, only 12 1-drops.
That sounds like something I would do.
Oh my gosh, Magic, all those carpet decks, we should definitely get you playing one because I think you'll really like it. But we have the Token Druid in front of us here. We've both played a little bit of this, and I think this is definitely one of my favorite decks of the expansion so far, and I think it's one of the most powerful decks of the expansion. I mean, you've played with it a little bit. What are some of your favorite like interactions or general kind of thoughts on the deck?
I definitely feel like it's a bit more forgiving than a lot of other. Like I'll notice that I'll mess up a play, like maybe not too badly, but I might mess something up and not do the play that I intended or something like that, or I realize that there was a better one after I finish my turn, but the other person ends up not getting their combo or running out of steam or for whatever reason, they'll end up just conceding anyway. So it's forgiving in the sense that even if you kind of mess it up, you can still come back and you can still last long enough to kind of burn out. your opponent.
That's a really good point. A lot of these cards that we're playing do produce multiple minions. Things like landscaping, things like Dreamway Guardians actually do produce a lot of resources, so you can usually trade quite well. So over time, if you are trading well, you usually do find that you'll have a lot more resources than your opponent. We also have great cards like Crystal Song Portal, which can give us 3 minions in 1, and we can get a lot of extra value with cards like Archmage Vargoth and Whispering Woods combined with Soul of the Forest. So I think you're absolutely right. This is a deck that even if you don't have maybe some ideal turns, or you don't go for the quote unquote best play, you usually do end up with quite a lot of resources. Evil Cable Rat as well, Steladris. If you ever have had a chance to play around with Steladris?
I think I've only managed to use him a couple of times. But it's still one of those cards that's just kind of like good to have.
Yeah, of course. Like getting extra value out of... Power of the Wild and Wrath are already great cards. Mark of the Lower a little bit less so, but I think Wrath and Power of the Wild are already so good that combining them with Steladris is kind of just a no-brainer. And if you ever do get that little extra value, and every little bit helps. The last kind of thing that I wanted to have to mention is Forest's Aid, this big 8-drop, this kind of bit of a sore thumb, sticks out quite a lot, being an 8-drop in a deck full of 2, 3, and 4 mana cards. Have you had a chance to play around with that one?
No, I've never even gotten to the point where I've had to use it.
Yeah.
Like, it's another one that's kind of like good to have if you need it or if you really don't have anything else to play. But I've either not really drawn it or I've just had better options to close the game out without using it.
When we played, we've actually played this exact 30 cards. We played it last week, and one of the things we talked about quite a lot with Forest Aid, and in general, just putting these very expensive mana cost-wise cards in a deck that's trying to be quite aggressive, is a lot of it is about opportunity cost. That you are going to have games where sometimes you draw Forest Aid and you'd rather have a 2 mana, 3 mana, 4 mana card to help you curve out, and it just kind of sits there and rots your hand. And a lot of what we talk about when we talk about opportunity cost is, could you have won that game if it was just, a 2 mana 3/2 or just another minion to get to the board, versus when you do get to those really late games where you do have to rely on Forest Aid, how many of those were won purely because of Forest Aid? It's like a really interesting balancing act. And I think Forest Aid is one of the most powerful cards to fit that role, not only because it's 10 power for 8 mana, but you get to do it twice. So if your opponent
so you have 4 of them, essentially.
Yeah, we played a game up against a control shaman even, and they had to get both of their Hagatha's schemes and both of their lightning storms just to put us out of our misery. And I think that really speaks to what you were talking about before, which is that it does have a lot of resiliency. It's a really tough deck to put down. Well, I think that's a good overview of the deck. Are there any other thoughts that you have on any of the cards in here? Any cards that you've been liking quite a lot before we jump into some games?
I don't know if any really... Oh, actually, Crystal Song Portal.
Crystal Song Portal,
love that. Yeah, that's... if I can draw that early and just, pop it off to have stuff in the back pocket... There have been actually a lot of times that I've managed to use it and not had any minions in my hand. So
yeah, I think whoever did come up with this deck, whether it was CWSmith or many of the other people out there, I think that's one of the kind of really interesting innovations of this deck, that it is actually so minion light and you can get that Crystal Song Portal off quite a lot. And I did see in a game before I think you pulled both Ancient of Lore and Lucent Bark, the new Druid legendary that with the taunt. And I just think that with a lot of these cards, because Crystal Song Portal specifically discovers a Druid minion, if you actually go through and look at all the Druid minions that are legal in Standard so far, you can really get some boom booms. There are some huge Druid minions that will be great to pull off, and actually not too many low-cost minions. So whenever we do Crystal Song Portal, we're likely to get those chunky lads, which I really like.
Yeah.
So, without further ado...
I got a thick gonk just earlier.
Thick gonk. Ooh, yeah. Tasty.
I just messed up how to use him, which is what I was talking about, the misplays. Because I for some reason, I don't know why I didn't double check, but in my head, I thought that his activator was like if he kills a minion, then he can attack again. But it's if you attack and kill a minion with your face, then he can attack again. And so I messed up that turn by not using my hero power and whatever, but pretty much won in the next couple turns anyway.
Awesome. Well, I think that's something that we can definitely focus on whilst we do play these games. Is just making sure that we measure twice, cut once. We have a bit of a think about what we're doing. And even if we don't make the best play, I think as long as we have like a solid reasoning behind the plays that we do make, that's the most important thing. I always say whenever we jump into any deck like this, you know, the aim isn't to win games or anything like that. It's just to learn about the deck, learn about our place in the meta, and, you know, explore our opponent's decks just as much as we're exploring our own. So, without further ado, I think we'll jump into some games and let's see if we can get a couple of learns.
The forest fights back.
Okay. Here we are once again with the token Druid. Bit of an interesting hand here. Well, like I was saying before, we've got our mulligan statistics here, courtesy of HS Replays, which mentions that the cards that we're looking for in our opening hand are Acorn Bearer, Whispering Woods, Dreamway Guardians, and Keeper Steladris. Those are the better ones. And beyond that, we've got Landscaping, Power of the Wild, Cable Rat, and Wrath. So we don't have any of those cards in our hand, so I think a full mulligan here is totally reasonable, but if you wanted to keep any, you know, the Wrath or anything like that, wouldn't fault you.
Crystal Song's so fun though.
One of the things to keep in mind with Crystal Song is I think more Crystal Song is more of a backup plan.
Yeah,
we want to be.
I'm so aggressive with it.
We want to be. Yeah, so I think mulligan everything. Please do something. Uh-oh. Oh, okay. Jeez. Oh my god.
Hashtag content. Just for you.
I got you baited. Jeez. Alright, we actually have a tremendous hand here. This is
Whispering again. So, but it's like on a nice curve though.
Yeah, yeah. I think this is going to be good, especially if they kill our Acorn Bearer. The turn before we Whispering Woods. Or before we Whispering Woods. Might mean we actually get a really thick Whispering Woods off. Dreamway Guardians I've actually been surprised by. I think when I initially took a look at this card and was doing my ratings, I put it quite low. Direwolf Alpha is pretty threatening. I think we got to trade with that, with our Acorn Lass, and get our Dreamway Guardians out. The Direwolf makes...
Do we just hero power and then coin Whispering Woods next turn, or...?
No, I think we get Dreamway Guardians out there. Even if we get...
This one?
Yeah. Even if we did get Whispering Woods out that early, I think there are still some cards that our opponent can have that will goof us. In particular, Unleash the Hounds.
Oh yeah, gotcha.
So we don't want to put too much weight in a Whispering Woods.
Ew! Get out of here.
Alright, so we have some options here. We have some options. We could do something like coin, squirrel, Blessing of Ancients. And then we trade one of our keepers in. We still leave a blessing over as well, so it doesn't use too many cards in our hand. Sets us up for a pretty reasonable board. Lets us trade into that Hogger.
He's gonna be like, "What you doing?" And it's like, "Look at my thick lassies."
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people...
Do we trade into a boy or do we face hold?
Absolutely trade into that boy. We don't want to risk our opponent having like a Hound Master or even just going face a little bit more.
For druids and hunters, beast hunters, I'm always wary of like, I do not want any minions on the board ever. You get that off there.
Absolutely. Now, hopefully our opponent doesn't have like a flanking strike. Flanking strike would be pretty good here on our lifelinker. No, kill command. This is very good. I think this is the moment you have in those games where you're like,
homie.
Tremendous. Okay, so options. We could go for Whispering Woods, but like I said, I don't know. It could let our opponent back into the game. if they do have a Unleash the Hounds. So what do you?
Is it better to trigger it now or just like? So if they do, right? Is it better to just bait it out early and deal with it, and then come back with our other boys, or is it better to just let them hold it for and
look?
You know,
it's up and down. I think with the texture of our hand, I think maybe baiting it out now could be good. Especially if our opponent was planning on, like, I guess the best play they could have would be like Direwolf Alpha plus the boys. So I think going for the Whispering Woods now is going to be fine. And if they don't have the answer, we probably win this game because we can Soul the Forest, or we can Savage Roar them next turn. So I guess this is the kind of player that's like, yep, you have to have it. But they definitely don't. In fact, Master's Call here is just probably a death knell. Oh no, they did have a Spring Paw lying around.
it's not the scariest thing though.
I think we can drop our Acorn Keeper and Soul of the Forest, and that should be enough to kind of seal out the game. Like, our opponent really just has no options to deal with this kind of board. So if you are planning on picking up this deck, or you're thinking of playing this deck, or maybe you're playing Hunter on ladder, I think that's one of the things to keep an eye out for, is that Soul of the Forest really does, especially on this many minions, put the game out of reach for you. And we might have lethal here with Savage Roar and Blessing. Let's count it up. So we have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, plus 6 is 14, plus 14 is 28. So yeah, I think Blessing of Ancients, Savage Roar should be lethal, unless I'm as bad as math as everybody says. But look at this, lethaling someone.
It's potentially lethal. Maybe. Quick maths. Only like 7 off.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, look, better safe than wrong on the internet, right? GG's. So there you go. So really, like I was saying, Soul of the Forest is just tremendously powerful in a lot of these minion-based matchups. If you ever do manage to give yourself a bit of room in a matchup, you can really close it out.
And Blessing, I don't know if we need it this early.
I think Power of the Wild is a pretty safe keep. One thing to remember is that we do only have one drop in this deck. However, Acorn Keeper is our highest win rate card in our opening hand. So I would send back the Soul of the Forest and the Blessing of the Ancients.
Yeah, same.
One of the things that I always find pretty useful to do is using a site like HS Replays, where a lot of these decks have been played quite a lot. We can actually jump in and get some win rate stats for them. So, there we go.
Such is my life.
Unfortunate. So this is definitely what we were talking about when I think we can just get a 3/2 Panther out this turn. But I think this is what we were talking about when we talk about opportunity cost. That obviously, if either of these Forest Aids or both of them were, you know, different cards, pretty much literally any other card in our deck, they'd be tremendous. That we would actually have a great hand here. But unfortunately, we do not.
Such is my life.
We might have to go for a bit of a longer game and try and rely on those Forest Aid. Miss Kennedy, what is going on? We're jumping into some games with this token Druid with KidKerrigan. She's going to be playing. I'm going to be spectating. I'm going to be exploring this archetype. I think token Druid's probably going to be a longer lasting archetype if it doesn't get beaten out by any specific mid-range or control decks.
Dragon Paladin?
Yeah, probably Dragon Paladin. We've got some options here. We could either go for another 3/2 Panther and just go face, or we could buff our Panther and trade. I think we're better off just going for this second 3/2 Panther and going face.
What if? Make them work.
Yeah, unfortunately we might be working up a hill, as I think a lot of these Dragon Paladins are a fair bit more controlling. They try to really clear the board quite a lot, and they rely on the new Nozari, the new dragon, which restores both players to full health.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
Wowee.
So, once again, a couple of options. We could go for a swipe on the Thekgal, which will kill him. Or we could Mark of the Lower on our Panther and trade with that. I think it might be better for us to use the swipe, just because if our opponent does answer our Panther, then we can fight back by summoning the Raptors. But also, you know, buffing up wouldn't be too bad. Well, what do you feel like here?
I'm always iffy about swiping against Paladins because they can have so many little dudes, but because it's a Dragon Boy, I don't think he'll have as many little dudes. So
yeah, that's a pretty safe assumption.
Happy to do the thing. Which, like, it's so, because I'm such an aggressive Paladin player, it's so against the grain for me to, like, think of it that way. Like, my gut instinct would be just, like, save the swipe. But
yeah, no, I think that's a really important part.
Having 2/3/2 Raptors feels like it would be more useful in the long run.
Okay, ooh, interesting here. I think we might want to go for the Whispering Woods instead of the Mark of the Law. Not only do the Wisps compete better with our opponent's 5/1, but we're going to lose cards in our hand over the next couple of turns, and the Whispering Woods will just get a lot weaker. But I think this is a pretty reasonable Whispering Woods. Our opponent will probably have to respect it as well. They can't really, you know, have us be able to, you know, throw down a Soul of the Forest next turn. So we might actually see a Consecrate here. I think a lot of this... oh, that's even worse. The Scorcher. Ooh, that's okay. The more board clears they use before our Forest Aid, the better.
Yeah. Do they run Consecrate with all of... Like, do they have that much?
I think it's safe to assume that... that a deck like this should be running Consecrate. Whether it runs cards like Avenging Wrath or other board clears like that, that's a different question. But I think we should safely assume that there's some Consecrates floating around.
What would Uther do?
What would Uther do? Uther would pass the turn back to us and let both players play the video game.
A wild miscalculation.
Are you threatening our opponent?
No, I'm just oopsing at him.
Wild miscalculation.
Okay. Okay.
Maybe he wants more time to think.
Think about all that 0 mana he has to spend.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice of you to join the party, Acorn Bearer.
Welcome to the fray. I think we can just go for the Acorn Bearer and summon our 2 Raptors here. There's not many other options for us. Hopefully, like we were saying before, this baits out a Consecrate. Acorn Bearer, definitely one of the most powerful 1-drops that's available in this current format.
If it doesn't bait a Consecrate, would we then Blessing?
I think that's
next turn to save time for our forest.
Yeah, I think that's a really strong move. Also, Blessing now will put it out of the range of Consecrate as well.
Yeah.
Alternatively, our opponent could have just DC'd, and everything we're saying is irrelevant.
I didn't even consider that. Hello.
This is definitely the curse of recording. As soon as I start recording, everyone DCs.
Nature's blessings upon you.
Like, if I'm going for a ladder climb, if I'm trying to get to legend, and you're DCing, no worries. Done.
I mean, the easy win, easy life, I guess.
But if I'm recording that hashtag content...
Yeah, I know. I 100%.
Ugh.
Sir? Sir?
I'd like to get down now.
I'd like to get down to business.
To defeat... I think just go double blessing of the ancients. And...
face hole.
Yeah. Get in that face hole.
Get in that face hole. In the face hole, baby, this evening. Face hole, baby, tonight.
Excellent singing. Excellent work.
Can you believe people are actually voting for Apex over Twitch Sings? Excuse me.
I absolutely cannot. I don't know what people are thinking.
I'm just gonna savage roar.
Let them know who's boss.
I'm just like, let's just finish this game.
Get this game away from me.
So, I don't know, maybe the baby woke up, or I don't know, Game of Thrones started and they were just like, oh, bye. Or like, I don't know.
It's probably right. I'm sure we can go to the server statistics and we can see the like 50% drop-off of players as soon as Game of Thrones
Or like
starts.
people trying to multitask and just like
goofing it.
Failing to multitask because they're just so into it, you know? Must be nice.
GG's to our opponent.
Skip my fury.
Okay.
The forest fights back.
Against a rogue here with the token Druid. So given what I was saying before about the kind of mulligans, the cards that we're looking for, what do you feel we should do here?
I don't feel like I need any of these.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Whispering Woods is one of our highest win rate cards.
Yeah. We could keep it, but it's just so... Especially because we don't have coin.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like...
Okay. No, I think that's a totally reasonable thing. If you wanted to send it back, then go for it.
Neck minute, here's all your 8-cost cards. Have fun.
Oh, no.
I'm waiting.
No.
Oh, no.
You good, you good.
It's not bad.
Samara Gaming, what is going on? We are playing some token Druid here. And we are up against a rogue.
Ending our turn.
Mm-hmm. Now, we got a pretty good start here, I think. I think Dreamway Guardians is... having the option of going Dreamway Guardians or Power of the Wild is good. Welcome to the party. Let's get those Dreamway Guardians out there.
Yeah.
What shall we hunt?
Have you played against much rogue in this expansion?
Not too much. There have been like... I mean, I haven't played that many games in general yet.
Mm-hmm.
But there have been many steely rogues.
Absolutely, yeah. There's
Here we go.
Lots of these kind of tempo steel rogues, but we've got a pretty good draw here. We can possibly drop down Acorn Bearer and another set of Dreamway Guardians. Really threatening to kind of crush our opponent with Soul of the Forest or double Power of the Wild next turn. Alternatively, we could kind of get a bit more immediate value, maybe just go for Acorn Bearer and Power of the Wild now. But given our opponent has a 3/3 on board, that seems pretty weak.
Yeah.
What are you feeling?
I want more boys.
Well, we all want more boys. But how do you feel about the Hearthstone game?
I want more body.
What shall we hunt?
More bodies.
Yeah, I'm a greedy lass, okay? I'm a greedy lass.
Are you a hungry hippo?
Yeah.
Okay.
Also that. I also realised that I haven't prepared anything for lunch and I may die.
Ooh, that's a bad move.
There's like quinoa in the fridge and a yogo, and that's all I have.
What yogo is it?
The gorilla mix one with the choc chips, man. That's the only
You're
one
right,
that's worth eating.
You right.
I finally found him again. I thought they discontinued him. Found him at Woolies.
I think a yogo might murder me. I think that specific mix. I think my body is not designed to consume that anymore. All right, let's see what our opponent can do with this raiding party. Just another Blink Fox, though. Ooh, and a...
I don't know, this is feeling pretty toxic for me.
Ooh, swipe. Alright. So, options. We could go double Power of the Wild. This is going to buff all of our lads and lasses up quite a lot. We could then trade into both of those Blink Foxes with our Crystal ladies.
Yeah.
Alternatively, we could do something like like swipe and then trade, or we could just Soul the Forest and then hope to Power of the Wild whatever pops out of our friends. Given our opponent, what our opponent's been doing, they're likely to have like a waggle pick next turn and start attacking in.
I wouldn't be mad at double power trade.
Yep, go for it. Now, as far as I'm aware, not a lot of these Steel Rogue lists are playing Fan of Knives, but I'm always a fan of knives. Oh, you're kidding me.
Yeah, that is like the worst case scenario that I didn't...
Yeah, but I think we actually have...
Icon Bureau, so.
We can get back on board. I mean, we can just vomit out all these creatures and hero power in, and our opponent might not respect that, and then we can get our Soul of the Forest off.
Respect me! Imagine they had another one. Just wait.
Oh my gosh, don't even.
You're like, do you like double swipes? Because I will do it.
Hopefully they've got like Starfall or something. Something that at least costs a decent amount of mana. I saw that target on the Acorn Bearer. I was like, no way.
They would have done it on face, right?
Yeah, they would have. This is good though. If our opponent... Oh, you're kidding me. Oh, yucky. Our opponent's doing a very good job at... Oh, they went face?
Yeah, they went face.
Alright,
that was the thing that happened. They pounced my face hole.
We can just squirrel Soul the Forest. And I think we're in... I think I like that. Unless they have Vanish, but... You know, who knows?
Neck minute.
Oh my gosh. If they also have the Vanish here, I think we were just never destined to win this game.
It was written in the stars.
Oh gosh. This Henge Clan Burglar, I think, is probably the card I underrated the most of this expansion. It's just proved to be so useful. The amount of times...
So it's from any class is like not just your opponent. It's like literally any class.
Correct.
Just
any non-rogue class.
Yeah. Wow, toxic.
Our opponent's going full on face here. Alright, step one, let's get that ratty out. That rat daddy. See what lackey we get. Ooh, rush lackey. That's pretty interesting. So this gives us the option to go play the lackey on the evil cable rat, and then we can swipe the other burglar.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Yeah, you got it. Get it in there.
But
Face is the place.
It really is most days for me.
I was really curious that our opponent was going face that hard. That's a...
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how much to take from it, because this is, you know, sometimes people at rank 20 just go face a lot.
Yeah.
But...
Same.
Yeah, okay. So there he is. I mean, it's possible here that they actually have like a couple of shadow steps and they were planning on getting heavy with this Leroy. I guess not. Let's see if we can draw a Savage Roar off the top for the lethal. Here we go. One time. Here it is.
Wait.
There it goes.
Not done yet. Hold up.
Alright, we'll wait.
Need a second.
And it's gonna be in 3, 2, 1.5, 1.
That was wild.
That was wild. Lunara? Is this Lunara?
Yeah.
Yeah, Lunara's pretty good.
Her board is so pretty too. The flowers on
the Angoro board. Tasty. Alright, off the top. Wrath. Well, maybe Wrath for our draw and see if we can draw lethal. There we go. Alright, is that lethal? 5, 10, 15. Yes, it's exactly lethal with 2 Blessing of the Ancients. We did it! Take that.
I didn't even think of the twin spell. I was like, landscaping?
Twin spell is an amazing mechanic. I really, really like it. Hopefully they explore it a bit more in the future. But that was a good game. I think our opponent made a couple of curious choices, but we showed them exactly how strong we can do, and I think we made
How to play the game.
Yeah, I think we made some interesting choices, and even though our opponent had, you know, that swipe, those really good answers, I think we did pretty well, if I don't say so myself.
Yeah.
All right, up against the mage. Got the Acorn Bearer though, which is the lady we always want to see. What do you think about these other 2 cards though?
I don't think we super need them right now.
No, I think we should definitely send them back, try and find a 2-drop, try and get our curve going on.
Yeah.
Hopefully our opponent wastes their turn 2 by trying to kill this Acorn Bearer. Yeah. Let's get her out.
Get out there!
I love this the artwork too. I was making a thumbnail the other day, and I had to go through this artwork, and it's so good. The little squirrels sitting on her shoulders. Yeah. Oh, they even wasted their coin getting rid of this Acorn Bearer, which is truly curious. Let's get our Dreamway Guardians down.
I think I've been underrating Dreamway Guardians.
Yeah, I think it's...
I really have, because I don't know why. I guess I try to save them for when I need healing later, but having 2 1/2s on the board for 2 mana is crazy, even if you don't need the lifesteal.
Yeah, I think a lot of people definitely underrate the just how powerful these things can be. So our opponent looks like they're setting up for a Daring Fire Eater, which is going to be really frustrating for us. It's really bad if they have the Daring Fire Eater. No. We could lose our entire board to it. So is there a way that we can potentially not have that happen?
Go face and wait.
I mean,
let's see.
We could just hero power and maybe drop 1 squirrel.
Just like a tentative, like just the tip.
Yeah. Well, the main thing is that we don't want to like squirrel Power of the Wild here, because that's our I mean, that would be a great play if our opponent didn't have this fucking spirit in play. I mean, we might be giving our opponent too much credit or respecting them a bit too much, but really, if they have Daring Fire Eater here, they don't. Okay, never mind. Never mind. Don't ever listen to me. It's fine. Okay. Well.
Do we Wrath to draw?
Oh, Wrath to draw. I hadn't considered that. We could Wrath to draw, unfortunately. Yeah, if we wanted to Power of the Wild this turn, which I think we do, we probably want to drop the squirrel as well. The squirrel. So, I think either Wrath to draw and then see what we get, or Squirrel Power of the Wild is going to be a strong move.
What if...
The Squirrel Power of the Wild also gets the squirrel out of our hand so that we can Crystal Song Portal if we need to.
Yeah, gotcha.
Problem is, it doesn't use all of our mana, which, as many of the...
We're trading anyway, right?
Yes, we're going in there. We got to get rid of that thing.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Interesting. Wonder what our opponent's kind of going for here. I've seen a couple of these kind of hero powery mages floating around, but they've all been a bit different. Some have been very controlling, others have been the exact opposite, very aggressive. Opponent drawing up here. Oh, Solar Forest. I think we have to do that. Even though it's only for 3, I think this is really going to put a massive headache. Give our opponent a massive headache. Even if they're relying on Blast Wave or something like that to clear everything up, now they're going to have to do it again. They're going to be taking damage whilst they do it. We can even push the damage in with a Savage
Toxic.
Roll. Ooh. Okay. Let's start off with, I think, a Wrath for draw. And we could probably follow up with a swipe afterwards if we really want to.
If we're feeling saucy.
Ooh, are we feeling saucy? That's the question. Let's think what lackeys would be good here. Probably not many of them. Yeah, I think swipe is okay.
Just get rid of it.
Just get rid of it. Once again, put our opponent having to, you know, Blizzard or Flame Strike or coin Flame Strike. Although they did coin their hero power, so let's see what they get up to. I think this is definitely a matchup where if our opponent does have all those answers that I was talking about, that Forest Aid is going to be like an absolute killer.
Excuse me? Can you just take that card, throw it in the bin, mate?
Let's get our Cable Rat out there and see what delicious. What do we got? Ooh, 2 damage. So we could Lackey and Hero Power and trade one of our probably our Squirrel. And that will let us Crystal Song Portal as well. I don't think we want to Dreamway Guardians just yet. I think our opponent's definitely got a...
I want it. What are we getting? Gonk, boy!
Oh, Dendrologist is going to be great.
That's actually really good right now.
Yeah. Even Tending Tauren can kind of function as a little bit of a bufferoni. So this is a great selection of options here. We've got things if our opponent does have the answer. We've got Meteorologist for 8.
Oh, that's toxic.
Wow, nothing to face. That was the perfect one. Alright, we could go Dendrologist and Tending Tauren. Or we could go Dreamway Guardians, Tending Tauren.
I feel like we maybe a spell might be good to use now while we know we have Treants, because we're a little bit...
Sure.
We don't know when the next time is we'll get a chance to get them out, you know?
Mm-hmm. All right. A couple of options here. Mark of the Lower is pretty good. I mean, we could pounce this turn if we wanted to. But it's not really going to do too much. I mean, we could pounce and then also trade with one of our trees. And then maybe when we play our Tending Tauren, instead we choose to summon 2 more Treants. Or we could go Mark of the Lower just for a bit more grindiness. I think Mark of the Lower.
Yeah.
And then let's just go Tending Tauren. Let's buff up the lads. And just go face.
Sorry, I traded one.
Okay, that's okay. I think...
I was like, get rid of it! Didn't have to.
I think it's 50-50 on whether you trade there. Part of me is like, well, this is the period of time where they're going to be just rattling off board clears. So one way of thinking is that, well, if they're going to keep clearing our board, we'd rather them not hit us for 3 every time they do. The other way of thinking is, well, we got to try and get as much face damage in as possible because we're not going to get many opportunities in the future.
Yeah.
But given our opponent's playing this Raven, which leaves them with only 5 mana left, I think we might be good here. They might try and drop another. Oh, Frost Nova. No, we're not good.
But they just heck and ping.
Soul of the Forest.
And I have a soul.
So I think maybe, what's the best way to maximize this Soul of the Forest?
Do we Dreamway Soul?
Well, we could Mark of the Lower to summon the Raptors.
Oh yeah, those boys too.
I think that works a bit better, just because a lot of these I think the coming turns we're going to be trying to do a big thing like a Forest Aid or a Gonk, and we want a small thing to do as well. So doing the 2 medium things might be the way to go. All right, opponent. Let's see how many more Frost Novas you got. Frost Nova is really the worst one because it just makes it's essentially a board clear if you already have a board clear. Oh, what? Oh, it's that play that we thought they were going to do on turn 3.
Oh my goodness.
But we have Tree Friends. Opponent's going to trade again. What 4 mana? They could have like a Cinderstorm here. Or something. Scompskoos. I think they're dead. Yeah, I think they're really dead.
I don't even have any weapons, mate.
Oh, I think we are the weapon. Just play all those Savage Roars. Play all the Blessings. This is like the I don't know if you've played a lot of rhythm games, but how some rhythm games will have like a freestyle section where it's just like, yeah, do whatever you want. In Hearthstone, this is that section. Like, yeah, your opponent's dead in one of 50 different ways. Go for it. GG's. All right, well, let's. I think we'll stop playing here, and we'll have a bit of a chat about the deck.
I will just play away, but you chat.
Awesome. All right, so we've played a couple of games with the token Druid. Kerry's just playing a couple of games in the background here. We're gonna have a bit of a chat about the deck. I really like it. I really like this deck. I think it's a great aggressive choice. We talked about the resiliency at the start, and I think a lot of the games we played really emphasize just how resilient the deck is. We always seem to have resources, and I think we could probably coin here. Coin out a Cable Rat?
Yeah.
Yeah, it might be pretty frustrating for our opponent. But we definitely saw that resiliency in play. The only times where we really dropped to low number of cards in hand were when we kind of made that active decision to go for it and try and get a bit more aggressive with things. Have you noticed anything now playing the deck a bit more than you didn't notice before?
I'm starting to get muscle memory for like the Dreamway. Like I can drop that now and just trade, and that's like so good. Yeah, I think
that's really good. Yeah, we kind of want to save our Faceless Lackey for a bit of what I call granularity, or what's commonly called granularity. Which is essentially just that, ideally you want to be spending the most amount of mana that you can each turn, and getting a lot of these little one-cost minions with the Faceless, with the Cable Rat, getting them with the Acorn Bearer is just, ooh, tasty. Zap is the card that we didn't want them to have before. Surprising that they didn't go for it. Alright. Our opponent has lost their mind.
A little bit. That was a bit cray-cray.
So we've got a couple of options here. We could go for another Cable Rat. See what we get. Or we could get the Dreamway Guardians out. They pretty much have to answer the Dreamway Guardians immediately. And they probably won't be able to.
Yeah, and they just wasted their 2 zaps.
Absolutely. So maybe we can go for the Dreamway Guardians and then hope that we can land a Blessing next turn. Now,
should I save my Lackey boy?
No, we should probably play them, but we should try and also play them first, just in case we summon a Doomsayer with this Lackey.
Yeah, gotcha.
Alright, never mind. Whew. Okay. Alright.
See, that's the stuff that over time, I've forgotten. Like, I always had that rule of, like, make sure you draw cards first. Make sure you, like, summon a thing just in case, or...
Oh, our opponent's going face here.
They're doing lots of face.
I would not recommend that. Leaving one of the Dreamway Guardians up. And then, yeah, you're absolutely right. These Dreamway Guardians have proven to be just absolutely phenomenal. So we could go for a Blessing this turn. I think we might be better served Oh, this is tough.
I can also evil and just hero power and kill that thing and go face.
That's true. Maybe we'll go for the cable rat and see what pops up.
I think we need that right now.
Yeah, I think we can save that. So maybe go hero power. But yeah, we've definitely seen the resiliency of the deck. We've seen that it can just be an absolute nightmare for other aggressive decks, other minion-based decks like this. Yeah, just a real bit of a menace. And I think that it will be those dedicated control decks
speaking of the flexibility, this time I hadn't even noticed that I had the 2 Forest Aids.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I've had so many other responses for things in the meantime. I didn't even notice they were in my hand.
Yeah, I think that's that definitely speaks to the power of the evil cable rat. Oh, get out of here. Get out of here, friend. Definitely speaks to the power of the cable rat, the power of having those kind of strong options in those turn 2, 3, and 4. I think that there's definitely some cards that we can get that don't allow us to do that. You know, you can imagine that if we had just drawn like Dreamway Guardians and landscaping and these kind of dorky minions, it would be a different scenario than if we had gotten those cable rats and those other flexible spells. So
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, overall, final thoughts on the deck?
It's heckin' fun to, like, smash the face and people concede because they ran out of answers. And
any advice that you'd give someone who's maybe jumping in, new expansion, wants to have some fun games, they're probably sitting at, you know, rank 25 to rank 15, any suggestions for them?
You kind of just have to try out a deck that you think might be strong that you can afford and kind of stick with it. Like, just play some games and get used to it. And, you know, you have to get the games in to know how it feels and what reactions to take, things like that. If you don't play it enough, then it's the same as anything else. You have to develop the muscle memory for it. But this is more like mental muscle memory rather than, you know,
and I think
mechanical muscle memory.
Hopefully by watching some of your games that you've played here today, that people will be able to you know, that hopefully that'll help them figure out where they want to be. As far as the affordability goes, only the Steladris, which we kind of see in the hand here, only the Steladris is really expensive. That I think everyone else will have Vargoth, which is the free legendary you got for logging in.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's just a lot of rares in this deck and a couple of epics, so should be pretty affordable for most people. Regardless, thank you everyone for watching. Of course, my name's been Tommy Wave, and joining me has been KidKerrigan. Of course, you can find her on Twitch TV, twitch.tv/KidKerrigan. And also big shout out to the deck. This is from CWSmith. Of course, if you are watching this video on YouTube, all the links will be in the description, including a link over to the Hearthstone deck article. Please jump over there, check the deck out, give it a +1, leave a lovely thoughtful comment, like I know you will. Until next time though, please stay safe, stay wavy, eat the rich, and bless the ancients. Bye. I hope you enjoyed that video. Check out other ones over here, or come subscribe to the Wave Pool for more excellent times.
Yeah!